Did you know the possibility of having a lot of money even with a low salary? It's entirely true. If you don't believe us, listen to the expert in personal finance and best-selling author on financial education, Dave Ramsey.
And you've got to study and think about this money stuff through the lens of behavior modification. It's not a math problem.
The premise is clear. It doesn't matter if we earn 6 figures or 3. What is crucial is how we make our money work for us. If you earn little and feel that money is not enough, you are not alone. There are hundreds of millions in the same situation. Today, we want to share Ramsey's plan to move towards wealth, regardless of the income level. 1. Build a budget. Write a plan. You have to create a budget on paper. Imagine you are a company and you need to manage yourself. There's another way to do it. Dave Ramsey calls it the zero-based budget. It means that all income minus all expenses should equal zero. In other words, if you earn $1,000 monthly, everything you spend and use for savings should add up to $1,000. The idea of this concept is to give each dollar a purpose to maximize its utility. Because we are at a stage where our income is very low, it is indeed a budgeting style that can provide significant benefits regardless of the financial situation. 2. Eliminate debts, the snowball on our way to wealth. With low incomes, we have to get rid of bad debts, those debts that take away money from us every month with their high interests. Imagine debts as heavy rocks we have to carry while we move forward. They will make us move slower, and if they grow too much, they won't allow us to move further. They will stagnate us in poverty. So the first thing we have to do is pay off debts to free ourselves from that weight. Dave Ramsey has a very useful strategy to eliminate them, one by one, the snowball method. And the best part is that it's really simple. Organize all our debts from smallest to largest and start focusing our efforts on the smallest ones. We will use all the extra money we have to pay off the smallest debt, of course, without neglecting the minimum payment of the others. After paying off that debt, we will continue with the next smallest one and so on until eventually paying them all. Why do it this way and not attack debts with higher interest rates? Because this strategy focuses on the psychological power of small victories and motivation. By paying off a small debt, we will feel victorious, relieved, and motivated to move on to the next debt. If the motivation is enough and we stay focused on our goal, sooner rather than later, we will have paid off all the debts. We will free ourselves from that heavy burden, and indeed, we will also gain payment speed. Because when you pay off a small debt, now you can use the resources you used to pay it off to pay the next one. When you have paid 3 or 4 debts, you will have accumulated much more money to pay the 5th, and the remaining ones will form a snowball that crushes debt by debt. That's why it's called a snowball. 3. Establish an emergency fund. Emergencies or unexpected problems that have the power to shake our lives will never be lacking. Losing our job, an illness, an accident, urgent repairs, or the need for money to prevent the bankruptcy of our business. And to be able to solve all these situations without complicating ourselves too much or without finding ourselves in need of getting into debt, we need to have an emergency fund. Not having an emergency fund is like taking a long boat trip across the ocean without life vests or lifeboats, simply hoping there won't be a storm and something happens to the boat. Although it is highly likely that there will be storms because there always are. It's just that they can't always be predicted, and you definitely won't want to go through one in a sea of debts. And the sad reality in much of the world is that most people do not have an emergency fund of at least $1,000, meaning they have a too high level of financial insecurity. If something happens to them, they won't have how to take care of themselves or how to solve it. Dave Ramsey advises preparing an emergency fund equivalent to 3 months' salary initially. From there, work to bring it to 6, and finally, to 12 months, which is ideal to be able to cover more expensive emergencies. It's money that has to go into a separate account, which will be untouchable and easily accessible because the goal is to be able to use it quickly. It's not convenient to have it invested in assets that are difficult to liquidate or that may be in a period of devaluation when you need the money. And how to gather money for the fund: by saving. And to achieve it, remember what we talked about the budget and its usefulness. So we can save money by cutting most of those unnecessary expenses. In 2021, Americans spent an average of $300 monthly eating out, about $100 on coffee, and over $300 buying cigarettes. Expenses can also be cut in subscriptions, cable TV, social outings, impulsive purchases. From these expenses, a good capital can be obtained. It's true, that could provoke a radical lifestyle change, but they shouldn't be cut completely at the beginning and not at the same time either. Also, it is not an obligation to do it. It is about doing it voluntarily because we understand that financial security must be prioritized over immediate gratification. It's not just about cutting expenses. You can also look for more sources of income that go to the emergency fund. Tell us in the comments. Do you have an emergency fund? How do you cover those unexpected expenses? Having that fund will be like building a fortress against problems. Don't hesitate to start creating it. It is necessary. And once gathered, we can focus on the step that will allow us to create wealth. 4. It's time to invest. People who make themselves rich do it with investments, not just by working for others. In our case, let's see it as growing apples. We start with the easiest, planting the seeds so that, over time, with a lot of patience and care, we can harvest them. In investments, our seeds are the money we save, the passage of time, and patience for when we make them long-term. The most convenient and care, which for plants would be watering them, for investments would be compound interest and reinvestment. And the best part is that when we invest long-term, we don't need huge amounts of money to start. With modest capital, significant results can be seen in the long run. Eventually, stocks will recover, and companies will continue to grow until the next crisis. But if you still feel unsure about just investing in the market, you can diversify. There are bonds, precious metals, real estate, and many more options. The important thing is to have diversified investments that make our money work for us, multiplying. And of course, know what we are getting into, studying and understanding the risks. On the other hand, you can also invest in your own venture that will generate income eventually. 5. Find more sources of income. At this point, few will be surprised to know that more than a third of Americans have freelance jobs or remote jobs to have enough income. And the truth is that any of us can offer our skills online in exchange for fair pay. It can be programming, writing, drawing, creating and editing videos, doing accounting or legal advice, designing plans, and even teaching. Fiverr, Upwork, and Workana are excellent platforms for remote jobs. But outside the digital world, there are also many opportunities. If you're good with wood, you can sell furniture or tables. You can offer your services for repairs or maintenance. You can take care of pets or children. The possibilities for part-time jobs are many. The important thing is to get more sources of income, which will allow us to save more and give us more security, because you never know when you can be fired due to downsizing or if the company goes bankrupt. So this step focuses on making sure we have at least 2 sources of income. 6. Live below your means. The key to saving money and avoiding debts is to live below our means. And this is key when our incomes are low. And we have to clarify that it's not about depriving yourself of all the things you like and enjoy. Of course not. It's about making a sacrifice so that you can empower yourself in the near future. So you stop living from paycheck to paycheck or being in debt all the time. Living below our means, in a few words, not spending more than we earn. And to achieve it, we have to forget about living in a too expensive house that takes more than 30% of our income. We must say goodbye to the cafe's coffee every day. We won't be able to keep eating out every time we crave it, because the best option will be to cook at home. We can no longer buy too much clothes or focus on buying branded items. We must prioritize functionality over any other factor when buying. This is about making smart decisions when using our money and not letting emotions dominate us. When you intend to spend hundreds or more than $1,000 on a new phone, ask yourself if it's really necessary. You'll want to change the phone in a short time, while imagine how much that money could grow if you invested in the long term. Plan your purchases and stop improvising. It is the best way to live below your means, so you have more possibilities. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and click on the next video below that complements what we've seen today. We are here to help you achieve financial success. See you in the next video.